Hello, welcome to another episode of Ouch My Money. I am Denise. And it's very hot today. Hi, Douglas. What's sound in the background there?
Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting to. It's my YouTube. It's my
You
YouTube.
need to mute it.
I keep doing this.
Oh,
So,
goodness me.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Chunho.
Hi.
Let's have a long chat before we knock again. Then Rachel won't be able to come on for a long time. Why is Rachel always the last one on?
Hello.
I think you need to put yourself on first. Hello.
Yeah, then remove everybody, right?
No need, you
Just
just put yourself on. It's because you always the last to go. Okay, today's topic is quite interesting. Seeing as I just left my job also. This is the second week that I'm unemployed. Today's topic, for those of you guys who know the four of us, you will know that this sentence is a very it has a Douglas flavor to it. Your job will keep you broke and unhappy. Something that Douglas would say. Not in a bad way. It's just his
true.
flavor lah. Okay,
Don't
it's
you
just
think
his
it's
You must
flavor.
put a disclaimer. This is a statement. It is not representative of all of our views. It's just a
Yes,
statement.
because definitely I disagree with that. But it's okay, okay? So this is a statement. Your job will keep you broke and unhappy. I wanted to change it to
Okay, I'm
may,
ready. I'm ready.
but it's not a fight lah. Don't be ridiculous. No, we are adults. We can agree to disagree. Okay, so anyway, no.
I tend to agree. Initially, when I saw this statement, I also said it should be May. You know, there are some people who are masochists, they really want to feel unhappy.
Pain.
They want to be slave to the job. There are people 人很贱的. So
No, but there are some people who
that
enjoy
job,
their
right?
job lah.
They are.
I know there are scientists
so-
and all that. There are people. Okay,
Wait,
so
wait,
anyway,
so you're saying, wait, Juno is saying that they are purpose intentionally unhappy so that they can be happy.
Yes.
So they're
I don't
happily
believe
unhappy.
that.
There are people who are happy when they are unhappy. They love to be unhappy so that they can be
miserable.
happy.
They love to
Oh,
be
no.
miserable,
Some
to
people
complain.
some people like misery. Some people
Yeah.
are only happy when they're miserable.
If they're doing it unconsciously, that I can accept. If they're doing it consciously, I don't think so.
What if the
It's
person?
quite-
Okay, what if the person know themselves so well that they know that they have to be miserable to be happy? Isn't that like a
They don't know.
irony?
Maybe they don't know. It's all about self-awareness. Some people don't know
Yeah, I
about
know.
that.
Yeah.
Some people don't know about that, but they enjoy the fact that they are slave to their job and have all those things. They are doing this. They are service to the corporate world,
Whatever
service
it is.
to service
Yes.
to the bigger good.
Bigger good, greater good lah, dude.
I don't know.
What about your English? To the greater good.
Greater good,
Bigger
no.
good. Okay, so anyway, how do we come up with this topic, or rather this statement? Basically it's from this article. Okay, this article I will give full credit. It's shared by Chunho, right? So it's shared by Chunho. Basically, it's an article about how the Qatar Airways blame the airport chaos on people having found the ability to make money from home, so they don't have to come back to work, and therefore there's not enough people working in the airport, and therefore chaos when people start traveling. Right?
Yeah. Just give a context. For those of you who are watching and listening in, and
Maybe
if you have
talk about the article a bit lah.
and if you have not been reading about what's
Yeah,
going
share
on
the link.
been reading what is going on in the Western world, like especially in the States and Europe. This summer, when people started traveling, there were major chaos at the airport. Most of the airports in Europe and most of the airports in the United States, they have to wait long hours before can they have their bags check in. Long hours. and everybody been told to check in early. Okay, go to the airport early to get check in. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get on the plane early because they're short of staff. And then after, even if you check in your luggage, most people lose their luggage. I think about 40% of the people lose their luggage when they get to their destination. It's horrible. So it's major chaos, and people sometimes have to, and a lot of flights have been cancelled here and there because there's not enough staff to handle. That's happening in Europe and US. Uh, I am not sure whether that's happening in this part of the world in Asia. But so far, I haven't heard a lot of complaints in Asia. And my friends who came to visit from UK and from Bangkok, who came to Singapore, say that no such issue. And my friend who came from UK said in UK was horrible, but in Singapore it was fine.
Mm.
So what does that mean? No, I'm just thinking what does that mean in terms of attitude and
You mean the
approach,
CEO's attitude?
of
I think
people
the CEO's
towards work?
attitude is a very labeling kind of attitude, seriously.
No, I mean
If
the attitude of the people who are okay. So this guy said that so he blames, right? He blames people wanting to stay home, or this whole work from home thing.
well, why
And
not?
because now they have the ability to earn money easier, more easily,
Yeah,
correct?
he put easy money. I'm taking umbrage at it. Okay, it's not easy money at all. What's this nonsense talking about? Okay, so anyway,
No,
yeah,
no. I mean,
continue,
if
Douglas.
people have found alternative ways to generate an income compared to the work that they were doing before, so much that they don't want to go back to the work that they were doing before because they have found an alternative, then that's their choice, right? I mean, between doing something that you don't like, between doing something that is difficult and doing something that is easier, all things equal, okay, all things equal, both you don't like, both you don't like. One is easier, one is more difficult, and both gives you the capacity to earn the same amount of money. Which will you do? Which would you
Of
rather
course,
do?
the easier one. What? It's
Of course,
human
the easier
nature.
one,
What?
right?
Yeah.
So why would so do you blame people? So do you blame people if they don't want to go back and do the more difficult work since they can earn money in an easier way?
On the way that they
That CEO
prefer.
lor. The
Yeah,
CEO blame
you know,
people.
after his that statement that he released, right, I realized maybe that's why his employees don't want to go back to work because if the CEO is like that, right, it means the management is also like that. It means the employees are in shit lah. Seriously, right? I mean, imagine if the management tells me like that, then I'm like, hey, you should look at your own companies. I don't know, regulations or whatever. There's a reason why people are so unhappy working there.
Yeah, correct. So that's why if all things equal, and this is the condition is all things equal, then the person would choose to do easier work, right? Unless there is an
Mm.
overriding factor that compels them to go back to do that harder work because it is meaningful and fulfilling and it's full of purpose, and it's that they're so passionate about it that even they would prefer to do the harder work and not the easier one. But if all those conditions don't exist, then I wouldn't blame the individual because I think it's okay for me anyway. It is natural to choose the path of less resistance because you fight less.
Yeah.
Plus, I actually don't blame all these people. No, I mean, you have to remember all these people that used to work in the airport, that used to work with the airlines. When the pandemic came, you know,
Oh.
they were quickly told to furlong them, tell them to take leave. Then after a while, said, okay, we can't afford you anymore. You guys quit and give them and quickly ask them to go because it
Mm,
just drags on. Initially, they prolong them means they will still pay them maybe for a month or two. You don't have to come to work because there's no work for you. You just stay on. We'll still pay you for a while. You still get your benefits. But then after 2 months, the company cannot continue paying them because nobody is flying. Nobody needs to go to the airport. Then after that, they say, okay, we'll release you. Okay, you go and do other things. And then suddenly they say, what am I supposed to do? I got nothing. I've been working in the company for all this time, and suddenly you just let me go like this. And of course, they were like, okay, I need to survive. I need to do all this. They have to pay
mm,
their bills.
Mm.
They look for easy ways, because what's the best, easiest way? Everybody is stuck at home. So find ways to do work remotely. And then they found work, and then they realized, oh, I actually can figure to work from home, doing some things online, whatever it is, and I can make money out of it, even though they are
mm,
hosting a program, doing the influencer, doing editing, whatever that they can do at
mm,
home. And after that, they said, why should I go back to that company that
mm. To
whenever
that
things
day
goes bad,
job.
they just let me go?
Yeah,
Why would
because
I let myself be abused by them anytime they want me, they take me, when them they don't want me, they just release me? Why don't I just control my fate on my own if I can find work online? Right. So
correct,
I don't blame them.
correct. So that which then leads me to actually consider that um COVID unraveled a lot of things, a lot of very entrenched practices, and forced people out of that norm, okay, where they didn't have to think about anything else except do the job and get paid, okay, into a situation where they had to survive on their own because they no longer had that job that kept them safe, and necessity is the mother of all invention, right? So we have to, and if you need to survive, you need to put food on the table. Your family, you need to pay for the house, pay for power, pay for whatever else it is. Okay, people will be creative and look for ways, okay, to be able to generate an income if there's no more that employment situation. Okay, and people found it. Okay, and people found it, and so I started. And this is not the only thing that's occurring. I feel, the other thing that was that occurred was people couldn't go to office, right? People couldn't go to office. So decades, okay, decades of people going to office 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it is, okay, for the number of hours in a day, because that was how people go to work. Suddenly you couldn't do that anymore, and they had to operate from home, right? They had to operate from home for businesses who could keep their staff because the nature of their business um, allowed it, and people started working from home, and businesses have to survive and they have to continue and they have to operate under this new norm. Suddenly also discovered that, hey, actually it works. It actually works, and people don't actually need to come to the office from 9 to 5 to do the work that needs to be done. Okay, so people started to see possibilities because we were forced into a situation where we needed to consider these possibilities. Okay, so on one hand, people stayed at home and did work, and on the other end, okay, people who couldn't go to work lost their jobs because they needed to be at work to do their jobs. Okay, but
So, so
in
if so even for those people who stay home to work, I'm seeing two different groups of people where half of them, maybe not half, but part of them are actually struggling to stay productive while working from home. The other half of them figure out how to do it in a lesser time and spend the rest of their time doing other things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's how we. Okay, so not everyone figures it out. Okay, so I'll say that not everyone figures it out. Okay, and for the people who have figured it out, I think what they became present to or became aware of is that they have choices. There are choices that they didn't need to do things as it has always been done, and there were alternatives. Okay, let me tell you a story. Okay, very short story about this person that I recently was talking to. Okay, one of the people who went to Money and You, um, and she's out of a job now. Okay, so she's out of a job now, and she's looking for to start a business, and she's in her late 40s and started to explore social media. Okay, in the last 12 months after she got out of her job. Okay, and then she was so amazed, and she said, wow, I finally figured out, I finally realized what my children were doing. Okay, what was happening on social media, what this Facebook thing is, what this TikTok is. So it was a culture shock for her. It was a shift in reality box, and so she spent money learning about what social media can do, and her exposure to social media is only in the last 1 year or so. And that's what happened before that. Oh, too busy. Okay, too busy at work, too busy, no time for social media, and social media was this frivolous thing that young people do. Okay, so I realized that a lot of people are busy, okay, in um, keeping up with how things are done. There's a certain reality box, okay, of going to school, getting that piece of paper, and then getting into a job, and that's how they're going to spend. That's how they're going to spend their entire working years, working life, doing, and everything else um, is not considered. Okay, so they box themselves in a certain reality box. Okay, it's not that the possibilities are not there, but they are just not present to the possibilities. So they keep themselves in that box. And then suddenly COVID COVID happened, right? At first show everybody's box. Show everybody's box. And people started to realize, hey, we don't need to do earn money this way. Okay. We don't need to do this 9 to 5 thing. We don't need to do things that we don't like to do just for the sake of getting paid. And there are a lot of people like that. Okay. And so whilst this Qatar Airways story, okay, reflects a certain group of people who have found alternatives. um we talked about the Great Resignation. Okay, we got a few many many months ago, and how come there's a how come the Great Resignation is happening? It's because people realize that they don't need to continue doing the thing that job. Okay, and hence my assertion that for a lot of people, the job, okay, is merely means to earn a living. Okay, and for a lot of people, it's because the job that they do is because um, that's the way things are. Go with the flow. Okay, and they are not really happy with it, but it is a logical thing to do in order to earn a living. Okay, and then the last couple of weeks we talk about inflation, right? We talk about inflation, we talk about high interest rates, and the job doesn't help them pay the bills. And they cannot expect, and they cannot ask for higher pay, because what does higher pay mean? Higher pay means the cost of everything will go up even further, and then and then the cost of everything becomes more expensive, and then we go into this spiral. So hence my assertion, okay, your job will keep you broke and unhappy.
Let me just add to that before I want to discuss this statement. But the thing is, the great
Discard the statement.
what
Discard that
the,
statement.
what did I say?
Okay.
Discard the
Discard that
statement.
statement. That's what you said,
Discard
right?
the statement.
Unknowingly
Um,
he said it.
Douglas said the great
Okay, let me
resignation
continue,
was
continue.
happening
Sorry.
like humans back. No, no, no. It sounded like it's the past. It's not the past. It's still ongoing. People are still
What is
quitting.
ongoing?
The great resignation.
Yes, it is still
It
it
is
is
it is
still
still
ongoing. I
ongoing.
mean,
It
I
is
say that we
so
talked about it.
yeah. It is still ongoing and is so big now. It's so mainstream now that even Beyonce wrote a song about it. I don't know whether you guys have heard the song "Break My Soul." Is it "Break My Soul" or "Break Your Soul"? "Break My
I don't
Soul."
know, never hear.
Um, it's called "Break." I think it's called "Break My." Let me just Google in the one. But it's
The
called "Break My
song is
Soul."
not important. Title
Yeah.
is not important.
No, actually, you should listen to the lyrics. Listen to the lyrics. Release your anger. Release your don't know what. It's basically asking people if you're unhappy with your job, just quit. In a way, you go and listen to the song. It's really interesting. The way that they're saying
Break,
because
break my soul.
yeah, break my
Break my
soul.
soul.
Yeah. So it is still ongoing, and so it's now become very mainstream, especially in the West. I'm not sure whether how it is in this part of the world, but eventually I think it will come over to this side. Um, and and the thing about what Douglas was talking about inflation, yeah, we talked about inflation previously, and we talked the moment the Ukraine war happened, we said that don't assume that the Ukraine war is just so far away. It's not going to have affect us and all those things. It will, and inflation is the key thing that has affected us because of the Ukraine war. The biggest direct impact to everybody in the world is the inflation because it disrupted food supply, it
Mm.
disrupted fuel supply and food and energy. Inflation is the key to all the inflation at the moment for all countries in the world. It's a global impact. Just a small little country next to, not small actually. I
Not
changed my
small.
word. Not small. Just that country, single country next to Russia. Both countries are major food and energy exporters and supply quite a significant amount of minerals to the rest of the world just because they went to war. This food and energy inflation went sky high, and it's happening all over the world at the moment. And a lot of people in the US, at least 75%, there's a survey that was done, 75% of the middle class in the US says that the inflation is so crazy now that the rise in their income is not even able to keep up. So at some point, a lot of them are going to struggle. They at the
Mm.
moment still have some money saved up during the pandemic, but it is going to run out because a lot of them are now struggling because food and energy is just killing their savings.
And
So
there's no
job,
way. So there's no way to resolve this by getting a pay increment from the job. There's no way, because okay, so the thing was, the first cause of the rise of prices, okay, is shortage, right? It's a short demand supply situation, okay, shortage, and that cause supplies, okay, that are required to go up in price, and then we cannot afford to pay for that, right? And then you see, then if now the cost of manpower goes up, then the the cost of production of whatever else that's still available, right, of products and services. So it's not only the materials, supplies costs going up, then manpower costs going up. Then it's just a double whammy. It makes everything expensive across the board, and in the end, people still have to pay for the more expensive things. So it's an impossible situation. It's an impossible situation to resolve that way, because it is not artificial. It's not artificial inflation where prices are just going up without reason, but it is because there is just demand that cannot be met.
But having said that, it is also not practical or feasible. So what I think, I am not saying is that everybody should not be working in a job. So can you imagine a day when nobody works? Nobody works at corporates, nobody
Yeah,
are
so
employees.
it
That's
is
that's the other end of the spectrum as well.
well,
correct.
it
So
is
it
possible, but actually that's possible. Nobody is working because machine can do that role for a lot of the things. It is possible. It's just not in our current reality.
mm,
Automation improves efficiency, and that could be the one. But of course, that is not at the moment possible now because a lot of
Mm.
companies haven't invested enough, and AI
mm,
is not where we have it at the moment. So I won't put that aside. But I'm not going to. I want to just say that don't say that it's impossible. It is a possible thing. And there's a lot of
we
movies, a
just
lot
have
of
to be creative.
cartoons. Yeah, a lot of movies, a lot of cartoons have talked about the future in that manner before. And I actually feel that that is a possibility. It's just not in our current foreseeable future. But coming back to what Douglas is saying, it is true that it is a struggle, and it is not. If we actually go and increase our income, it will actually spiral, and then it will cause a runaway inflation actually, because everything will keep going up and up. It will be a run inflation, and it'll be very scary. Okay,
Mm.
everything we are just chasing after price and then income, price, income. It will just go crazy. So the thing is, if you don't do that and companies don't do that to raise the income, then it is true. If you just stay in your job and just do your job, and just be an employee just working to get an income, of course you will keep you broke because it's not enough to cover inflation. And of course, and if you are broke, tendency you'll be unhappy because tendency you'll be having a lot of arguments domestically in the family, cannot feed this, cannot pay the bills, cannot put enough food on the table. Definitely argue. A lot of the couples or a lot of family arguments usually is over sufficiency of income. I have to
Mm.
say, it's
Money.
one of the thing. A lot of people think that, oh, I get married, because of love and everything. Once you get married, it becomes a job. Okay? Once you get married, it becomes a job, and there's not enough money. You'll fight and squabble
Yeah,
over financial issues.
honeymoon.
Really?
Okay, honeymoon period doesn't last forever.
Yeah, the
That sounds like
financial
a sad
issue is going to
story.
cause a lot of problem. Financial, really, seriously. So need to consider a financial impact of it, and you really will be broke and unhappy. Okay, so if you want to say your job will keep you unhappy, yeah, if you just stay with your job and don't do anything else, that's why
Mm.
all this while that I've been talking in Ultimate, I always tell people, please, please, please don't just depend on your active income, your job to survive. Okay, please have another way out. Look for an alternative to supplement. Always find something else to supplement. Have a side hustle. Have something. Have some other investment instrument to build your wealth. Don't just depend on that. There's a lot of people who just depend on the active income, and to me, that's very scary. It's just like anytime they cut that your purse string, purse. That's it. Purse string.
Yes.
Anytime the employer just cut it and said, too bad, I would let you go. That's it, no? That's
Yeah,
it
but
for
that is
everyone.
also their comfort zone. Can you imagine employees who have been working for 20, 30 years? That's what they have been used to, and that's what they are expecting it to continue to be like that for them. A lot
Yeah.
of
Well,
So
people, yeah, that's
okay.
their
So the
reality
problem,
box.
the problem is people don't know what they don't know. I see what the
Mm.
problem I see is that people don't know what they don't know, and 20 years. Okay, so for our generation, okay, my I cannot see our. Okay, for my generation, the Gen Xers, and I think it's worse for the baby boomers. For the Gen Xers who grew up with that promise of study hard, work hard, get a good degree, get a good piece of paper, then you will get a good job. Okay, that programming, okay, and that's also reflected by what our parents did. Okay, you just go to work, get paid, and then everything gets taken care of. Okay, but what wasn't considered as part of that promise was how the environment changed. Okay, how things became a lot more expensive, how that single income used to be possible a generation ago. Today, single income is not enough. Okay, in a family, okay, you need double income, and double income is also not enough. Okay, so that promise, so people live with that premise. Okay, that context of you just have to work hard, and there will be enough money to pay for the things that you need. Okay, but the environment has changed, the world has changed. Okay, that belief didn't keep up, and I see that's the problem. Okay, it's a reality box. Okay, a map that people got that no longer matched the terrain which they're traveling on, and then they want what's wrong? What's going on? How come how come not enough money? Okay, and then people start to scramble. People start, okay, so then how to not enough money? Then how look for? Okay, but the thing is, it takes time. It takes time to build up. Okay, we talk about this all the time, right? To um, look at what's needed, and then create what's needed. Okay, but it takes time to do that. You cannot just, oh, tomorrow I need it, and then it's not there. It's not there. Okay, then people become desperate and start to do all sorts of funny things, and then and without the right knowledge, skills, or tools, okay, get into things like crypto. Not supposed to say. Okay, risky things. Play games that are dangerous that they don't know how to play, thinking that they know how to play, and then lose a lot more. People need to wake up. I don't know how to wake people up.
yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to add before I say I got a lot of things to say, but you guys, Denise, anything to say since you just recently left the job?
Mm, actually, my job. Uh, okay, this is something that I brought up before, and I think I only know this because of you guys who have been unemployed for a long time and are doing things that you like, right? So this one I spoke about it earlier already. But my job, what I did was there were some parts that I liked and then some parts I didn't like, and and I left because it will keep me from going where I want to go. Because I know my character, there are a lot of people who are able, like Chunho, right? He will have his daytime job and then he will build his portfolio on the side. So I'm those kind that Chinese we say 不见棺材不掉泪 means I don't see the coffin I will not cry. So the only way to make myself move forward is to leave the job and then I will see the coffin and then I will do something about it. So that was actually quite a large part of why I left lah. Yeah, so it kept me. It didn't keep me unhappy or broke lah, but it just kept me from moving forward to where I needed to go. I wanted to go lor.
Yeah, but if it kept you from going where you wanted to go, does that make you happy?
No, this is something else that I want to say to all my other fellow employed people who are thinking about pursuing their interest, their passion, turning it to an income generating activity, and think that you'll be happily ever after. It is not true because no matter, even if you do something as a passion to pay for your bills, right? Even if you do some, if you engage in your passion as a way to pay for your bills, there will be some parts that you still don't like. It will not be all, because I realize a lot of people who are employed, when they think about becoming their own bosses or coming out to do their own thing, they think that it will just be fun all the time. The moment you turn your what you like into an income generating activity, there will be parts you don't like. There will be, but it's just that, like what Douglas said earlier, overall, you will be happier because you're doing something you like. So this is
Net
something
effect.
that yeah. So but yeah, it's net effect, correct. So the net effect is you will be happier lah. Then of course you will be more stressed also because now you are, I was just talking about this yesterday on Spice and Nice, which is my other channel, that the biggest thing for people who have been employed for a very long time and then suddenly you're unemployed, right? You it's a stage of transition and adjustment, really, because you will have so much time, and but you have no set income coming in, you see. So then you need to, so now you're, it's sometimes it's even worse when your own boss, because nobody is there to tell you you need to wake up, you need to do this, you need to do that. But you need to do it because if you don't do it, there's no income coming in, and then you just starve to death.
Yes, and to add on to that, even if you do it, you don't know, there's no guarantee of results.
Yeah, correct. So
Yeah,
now
and you
my
don't know
thing,
whether
right?
actual income is coming in. So
Correct.
that's the very, very scary part.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right.
But also fun.
So
Yeah.
so so yeah, it will train your courage basically. So every day I need to engage in income generating activities and potentially income generating activities. There are two different types of activities. Okay, it doesn't mean you do something immediately the money will come in. Okay, so yeah, so yes, that was me lah.
So
That was
what
why
what
I left.
what I want to add to that is what I'm going to say. Also, my mind is jumbled with a lot of things. What I want to add to that is,
Organize it.
yeah, I'm trying to organize it. I saw a question, then I saw a question. Let me reorganize my thoughts a little bit. What I really,
Do you need
what I
some
want to say
time?
is that, no, what I want to say is that if you are thinking about leaving your job, and if you actually leave your job, there's like Denise said, there will be a transition. Okay, things will change, and sometimes the transitions actually happen to you affect your physical self physically. Okay, I remember the days, the week before I finally left my job and joined Douglas in his venture. That whole week, I tell you, I had diarrhea for days. And I actually called Douglas
You
Only that
did? So
week.
your body had a reaction, is
the
it?
week before.
The body will have a reaction. Of course,
The
the body
body
will have
will
a
have a
Body
reaction.
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 Yeah, because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I wasn't really that unhappy with my job. Um, I was happy at the last before I left my company, the oil and gas company. The last few years that was there, I actually have a role that actually I'm relatively happy about. But I know that eventually the company will move me to a certain position that I have to do a lot other stuff that I don't want to do, and I don't want to go into that. But and I think it's time to get out because I want to do something else differently, um, and so I actually left. But that week before I actually left the company and went on to the journey with Douglas, really the body was just have. I actually did tell Douglas, no, and then Douglas told me, "You can still change your mind. You can still your job. You can still change your mind." But I didn't.
No,
I
but
said,
you
You
see,
seem to be
the thing, okay,
100% on
to
board.
add what Chunho, to add to what Chunho has said, right? Um, we are all our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. Okay, we have thoughts. Okay, when things change, when environments change, okay, when something that we're so used to changes, okay, it's lost. Then we will grieve. We will grieve. Is you with someone for a very long time, and suddenly you break up. You will grieve. You will grieve. There will be thoughts. There will be feelings that will
Even if you
occur.
know it's right to break up, you will grieve.
Even though because you're so used to that, to you have established a certain norm, okay, and you
That's
have
right.
established a
Sure, the
certain
comfort zone.
equilibrium and comfort zone,
Comfort.
yeah, and so when you shake you shake that comfort zone, you shake that equilibrium, okay, it's just like when water you have a bottle of water, it settles right after a while, and then you pour it into a different container, it's going to find new shape. Okay, and so we have thoughts, feelings that will be disrupted, that will be messed up, and for some of us there'll be bodily sensations as well. Okay, which could be sleepless nights, which could be
Too
trembling, which could be
sleepy. It's very
diarrhea.
sleepy. It's very sleepy a way of bodily reaction.
It is because the mind is shutting down. It doesn't want to think.
yeah,
It doesn't want to.
Really?
It
Or like
doesn't. It
it's
Yeah.
a
doesn't
way
want
of
to
running
receive
away, is
new
it?
information.
yeah.
So some
But
people will sleep.
let me just continue with that. But the thing is, um, eventually, but after I left, we will figure things out. Okay, the first step is always one of the toughest, and then once you have taken that step, we will figure things out. Because human beings, no matter where we are, whatever, we are adaptable, and we will find ways. Some people will adapt very fast. Some people will adapt take a little longer time, but we will figure things out. And I actually find that what I actually eventually enjoyed, I say a lot of things. What I eventually enjoyed was that the time that it has given me, because previously when I was employed, I would have to wake up in the morning and then have that 1 hour slot to read whatever I have to read. Uh, Newspaper to my house, I read it as quickly as possible, browse through it, have my breakfast, and then have to go to the office. I have that only 1 hour slot. But once I was having running on the journey with Douglas, I had a little bit more time on my own. I can spend the whole morning drinking coffee, having breakfast, like 3 to 4 hours, reading all the things I need to read. And I realized those information are so important in for me to build my wealth, because I need those information to know where the world is heading and know stuff, and then readjust my portfolio. So that was crucial for me. And I realized that I couldn't do that while I was employed. While the employment gave me a steady income, but having access to that information and being able to do whatever I need to do to adjust my portfolio was building a bigger amount of wealth than the company was paying me. So I actually built wealth better with that than what the company was paying me.
Hmm.
So I actually increased my wealth faster than when I was working for the company. So it depends. So whoever is thinking of leaving their job, they need to know themselves. People need to be more aware of where they are, especially some people not very sure. Some people like stability. And when you come out and then you don't have stable income, you don't have that a dependable knowing that every end of the month I'll get this amount of money. Some people cannot. Some people just need that, and they will be happy. Like what Rachel was saying, sometimes the result doesn't mean you put in no more effort, you will get the result that you want, or you will get the pay that you need. The income is uncertain. And if some people who doesn't like those uncertainty, then they have to consider whether they really want to get. Maybe they will be happier having a steady income at the end of the month, and even if they have to be slave to the job, they'll be happier. So the person needs to really know uh, where they are,
Mm.
and be aware. But a lot of people actually are not aware.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I
Yeah.
want so
so
I
we
want to say something about what Denise said, okay, about, yeah, so it's not going to be bed roses, number one. Okay, and then you need to get used to the environment and all that. And I'm looking at the so big three to 2819,
yes.
okay, who's commented about choosing to be happy and um preparing for the transition before the transition. And I absolutely agree. Okay, I absolutely agree. In the way that, we talk about games. Okay, when we do our stuff, we talk about the different games that we play. So the employment game, if I use that metaphor, the employment game is one game, and it's one way that generates us income. It's not the only game in town, but it is the game that we are prepared to play, or we are taught to play going to school. And so we come out and we play that game because that's what we were trained to play, the employment game. If we choose, okay, and back to what Chunho said, not everyone, okay, so not everyone. I wouldn't say not whether it's everyone or not, okay. Fundamentally, we need an income, okay. Fundamentally, we need some form of income to play the game of life in the world today. And then it's which game we choose to play to generate income. And we don't, and if we and for people who are studying, who have been playing the employment game, you don't get out of the game and play another game without learning, without understanding, without preparing to play that game. Okay, and I think that's what a lot of people do. Okay, they thinking that after playing the employment game for years, they can get out of that game, and utilizing their knowledge, skills, and tools from the employment game, they can suddenly go out and play a different game. Cannot, because precisely, like Denise said, okay, you need to think about, oh no, I need to generate income. Oh no, what are income generation activities, and what are back end activities, and everything else in between. And in a job, you may not be doing all these functions. Okay, so it is not just jumping into a new game, it's actually understanding what this new game is. Okay, if I want to get out of this game, like Chunho, okay, his game is his magic pot, his magic pot game, and part of playing his magic pot game is finding out and understanding what's happening in the world so that he can make investment decisions properly. Okay, then that's his game. And he has built that up over time, and that's why he could ease into that game. Okay, so the thing is, whatever that game is, you can't just get out of the employment game and get into another game, and you get shocked. You will get shocked because you've been playing, if you've been swimming, okay, for 20 years, and then suddenly you want to go and climb a mountain, okay, you're going to fall and die because you don't, number one, you don't have the knowledge, skills, and tools, you don't have the muscles, you don't have the endurance, you don't have the breathing capacity even. Okay, so you need
Yeah.
you need to
So
plan for the game. You need to plan for the game that you want to play. You need to choose the game that you want to transition into.
yeah, and that's exactly that. I mean, you're referring to what Big 32819 mentioned, right? Why
Yeah,
not build a side gig I love first and then launch the new
yes,
journey? Yes, and
precisely.
that's what I've been saying. If you're relying just on your current active income, this single job that you're going to get yourself in trouble. okay, because you will likely be slave to that job. And that's what I'm saying. You need to start something on the side, whether it's
Otherwise, you have no
SME.
exit. You have no
That's
exit.
why
There's no
you need
exit
to
plan.
plan it. They needs to,
Yeah.
it needs to be planned. And I agree with Big Three 2819. Say you need to plan. You need to plan something, and don't just have that one thing. Because if you have that one thing, when the purse string is cut, it's trouble. Okay, and it's partly to answer that question by I don't know how to say her name,
Okay, so
but
basically the
So,
question is how do we, yeah, this one, this one you need to, okay, best case scenario is that you have been saving up before you get fired, so now you have time to look for a new job. The worst case scenario, if you're already fired and you have no savings, then you faster find a job. If you cannot find a job, you then do some part-time first, okay?
yeah,
That
but
is, I mean, of course, we all hope that you had savings before, but well, never know.
I
Rachel,
will say, always be prepared to be fired.
yeah,
Okay, why do
Yeah,
I say
correct,
that?
correct.
Why,
But we
why
don't
do I
know.
say that? Because and when you get into a job, okay, when you get into a job, you must be prepared to exit. Okay, you must always be prepared to exit, because if you are not prepared to exit, then you are held ransom by the company.
Yes, I know, and I agree, but not knowing whoever's life circumstances it is, they may not have the means to set aside
Yeah,
any money, etc. Okay,
backup
so do
Um,
what
plan.
you can. Yeah.
um,
yeah, Rachel, we actually
Yes.
Rachel
had
is
this
laughing.
discussion before. Remember, we actually had a conversation on this before. You say
But what?
no. Recently, we just have a conversation, and she said, How come people don't know how to? Remember?
Oh,
Then I said, 人就是这么贱的咯. Yeah. What would you say to a person like this?
yeah. So what we had that conversation we were talking about is, how we were talking about inflation, and then now I see articles, or Chunho was posting articles about, start to save up more, have a bigger emergency fund because inflation is coming.
It's
But
too
that
late,
that
Liao.
yeah, it's so counterintuitive. You wait for inflation to come before, remind people to save up more because it's going to be more expensive. By that time, it's too late. You shouldn't we all be saving when it's a bull market,
It's
when
what
things
Denise
are
said
good.
earlier.
Yeah,
It's
but we
what
also
Denise said
but we also
earlier.
talked about this before. Why people don't save when they know
Yeah.
precisely how much they need for their retirement fund. Even before this inflation came along, we had that conversation before on outright money. Do you remember? And then you were saying because some people are just
Yeah.
unable to see that far into the future or whatever you
Oh,
want to
don't
call
want to
it.
see. Don't cry until they see the coffin.
Yeah, correct lor. 不见棺材. I'm those kind, and I will agree with Big Three, 2819, that it is very poor planning to leave when I didn't have a backup plan. And I also don't know whether, to be honest, I have been doing online shows for a while, G, but it's not generating income. So I do not know whether it's considered a hustle or not, since it's not an income generating activity. Yeah, lor. So
Yeah, but
well.
it really takes time, and it really
It
takes
does. And I
effort.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
and I know my own character. If I don't quit my job, I stay comfortably there, I would be very much less motivated to move my ass on, really, to be
Mm,
honest. That
Yeah,
that's
but
yeah.
my
there's
character lah. But I know there are people who can do like my husband is the exact opposite lah. He will do a bit at the side consistently. And then he will just when he's ready, he's like, Chunho lah, when he's ready, oh I'm ready. Then they leave their jobs. I'm like, oh I'm not ready, let's just go. And then I jump and then I die.
Yeah,
but at
I'm
the
like
end,
Denise as
no, in
well.
the end, yeah, yeah.
When
Rachel, go ahead, Rachel.
So I just want to just very quickly share, I'm like Denise as well. And I don't know whether Douglas remember this, but there was one time where in one particular session where you said, I don't think it was to me, it was to the class, to the participants, but what you said something about burning the bridge. And
Yes.
that that
Sometimes
that
you need
was
to burn the
deeply,
bridge.
yeah, deeply imprinted into my mind. And that's what I did. I burned the bridge. And so I in some ways I'm like Denise, I burned the bridge and started my own business. It took me 3 years. 3 years to be stabilized. Now it's my almost fifth year, and now I'm in a very good space. But I have to first go through that 3 years to get to where I am right now. Yeah, so it takes time.
Yeah, lor. So
Yeah,
burn the
but
bridge,
you
lor.
see, the thing is,
Nice.
it will take, regardless, it takes time anyway. Whether you're in a job or whether you're doing your own thing, it's going to take time. There's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a process. Okay, then
Hmm.
in the end, under what circumstances do you actually get to keep what you create? And it's not in a
Hmm.
job.
Hmm. But I must say that okay, this is my personal experience. I must say that I think I went into my ex company. Maybe it's because of the hosting opportunities that were given to me. Otherwise I wouldn't have had the opportunity to be the host for gala events and things like that. I'm talking about 200-300 guests. I mean, if let's say I had no experience, no nothing, and if let's say anyone else would employ me as a engage me as a host or MC, they're not going to do one because I have no portfolio, nothing to show. So I think about it, maybe that was the reason why I was arranged to be
Mm.
in my ex company. I had a lot of MC opportunities actually
Mm.
and hosting opportunities. I think that was the thing that I took away, and it was a skill set that nobody else could take from me lah. Okay, and then something else I wanted to address. Big 32819 again. I want to say the number at the back. We must learn to be happy now, whatever. This statement, right, um, gave me some thought lah. Basically, what I thought when I read this statement was that we we will be happy and unhappy regardless of whatever we are doing. There will be happy times, there will be unhappy times, correct? But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, we get to choose what are we happy about, what are we unhappy about. It's like, for example, if you are rich, you will have rich people problems. If you are poor, you have poor people problems. Regardless, you will still have problems. So it's about choosing, it's about having the self awareness to choose what kind of problems you want at the end of the day.
So
Mm.
you're just saying that human beings will just have problems.
Definitely will have problems, right? It's like okay, if you want to have a hot bod, you will have hot bod problems, or correct? You need to work out, you need to eat healthy, blah blah blah, right? And
That's
then
not a
and then
problem.
yeah, it's some people it's a problem like you eat healthy, you cannot eat like I don't know whatever it is. If you are in a size that you don't like, that's also a problem, because you don't like it, right? Mm,
Okay.
I think so.
Anyway, I
Okay,
just
that's
want to
all.
go back to what Rachel said, the counterintuitive thing. Why do people
Mm.
start having an emergency fund because it's inflation is a bit too late? That's precisely the reason why when during peacetime, I mean, you just look at all the countries during peacetime, people plan, build up the military. A lot of people say, what's the point? It's peaceful. They say, what, we're going to train military, spend money, have a defense budget to train people up, waste
Mm.
a lot of efforts, get people, and
By the
especially
time you have a war, it's too late.
a lot
You
of
don't plan for a war when the war starts.
yeah, you don't plan for a war when
Yeah.
the war starts. You got to plan during peacetime, and then you are ready when it happens. So when the times are good, it is a time to plan. It's like last time when the farmers, when the harvest is good, you save it up. You plan for winter.
Mm.
If you haven't watched Game of Thrones, they'll say winter is coming. They always plan for winter because when the winter comes, you don't just, oh, winter is here. What do we do? You need to plan for it.
Yeah, so the simplest analogy I always give, right? If you see an egg rolling down the table, and when it comes to the edge of the table, it's going to drop and it's going to fall, it's going to break. So if you're seeing the egg roll, you say, "Oh my God, the egg is rolling," and you don't do anything about it. Too bad. Deal with the consequences. But
Okay.
the thing I think also is the 20 years of education that a lot of people, that most people, not yeah, not a lot, most people go through. Um, it doesn't prepare people for anything else except to play the employment game. Okay, and anything more than that, okay, it really comes from influence, comes from external sources that then shape or expand the reality box beyond the employment game. So people don't know what they don't know. Okay, people don't know what they don't know, and if people don't know what they don't know, then they can't do anything about what they don't know because they don't know,
They can't
and
change anything.
that's the sad part.
Hmm. I agree. Okay, we have a comment slash question from Chloe. Can we talk about marketing for the next time? Chloe, thanks for your comment and your suggestion. I want to know what about marketing do you want us to talk about? Let's drop us in the comments below what about what is it about marketing that you want us to talk about? Okay, is it marketing dollars or what is it? Okay, let us know and then we will consider having that as our next topic. And then we have another question. Can you guys share your ways of recognizing the signals of the universe? Everything happens, and I seem to find it not easy to realize. That is true. Even till today, I still don't realize. Okay,
Until
Douglas,
somebody
how you
comes
realize?
along and
The
No, no, no.
next part.
How do you realize? Because okay, because I this one I'm quite curious also. It's like sometimes, right, when you're trying out something new, doing something new, and then an obstacle comes along. So, how do I know that this is an obstacle that is meant to test my determination, or is it an obstacle that's telling me that this path is not for me?
Douglas, before you go, I want to say from my view first, then
go,
Douglas can
go,
go.
go.
Um, this needs practice, and a lot of people are not trained, and a lot of the school doesn't train us to do this,
What is
uh,
this?
to recognize.
Oh, okay, okay. The
I
signals of
would
the
say
universe. Okay,
what
okay, okay.
the way to recognize this is actually listen, and it's not using your ears to listen; it's using your heart and your mind to listen.
Mm.
Listen to yourself, listen to your feelings, listen to your own thoughts, and listen to your body. Those are the hints whether you're happy with it, not happy with it, you have problem with it, and all those things. You have to listen. A lot. And when I say listen, it's not the ear listening. It's really yourself as a
Mm,
whole being listening to things that's happening to you. We are not trained by school. We are not trained, unfortunately, by our parents as well, because we went through school as well, and the school never trained them that. And because school has always been training people to do a certain way of things, because school is preparing us to do an industrial job, work outside for some other companies. So we are not trained in that manner. But maybe in the olden ways, way before industrial revolution, people will train that we need to listen to ourselves, and unfortunately, not many people are trained to do that. And that will
Yeah.
be the signals from the universe whether um, it is something we want, or is something that's not right for us. Um, yeah, so you guys can.
Yeah. And when Chunho says listening, um I know Chunho is gonna say that because I asked the same question as you, I don't know how to pronounce your name,
two,
2 years ago.
two, huh?
and and how I phrase that question is, how do I train my intuition, my gut, that tuning in, to sense whether is my voice, or is the one I want or the one I don't want. And 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 that's what Chunho told shared with me back then as well. So and because of that and a few other things that happened, I took 1 year, the year before last year, to train up my intuition. Not that I'm very good at it now, but I feel that I'm better at it. And recognizing the voice is all about tuning in to listen, to learn to recognize which part of the voice that validates it or there's resistance, whether you're blocking it or you are not, whether it's out of fear or out of courage, all the different signs, different feelings, sensations that's coming up. Yeah, it's all about tuning in. That's what I'm doing for myself. Yeah.
My turn is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Douglas, go ahead.
So for me, it's always so I talk about this all the time. Universe will give us gifts, and gifts. What are the universe gives to us? Struggle, obstacle, and challenge. That's it. Okay, the universe will always give us struggle, obstacle, and challenge. Okay, and and say thank you. Okay, we cannot say no. We can only say thank you. And why say thank you? Because struggle, challenge, and obstacle simply means that we're thrown into a space, into an environment, into something, a situation that we don't know, we're not familiar with, that scares the shit out of us. But basically, we don't know. And when we don't know, then we will find out. Okay, and when we find out, we will learn. And when we learn, we will grow. Okay, so the more challenges, the obstacles and difficulties, whatever it is that the universe gives us, okay, then it is up to us to choose. Okay, and the choice is break down or break through. Okay, we break down when we run away, when we avoid, when we deny, we will pretend. Okay, we break through when we figure out how to get through the obstacles, challenges, and problems. Okay, so to me, it's not a good when whatever for me whatever I experience, it's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. Okay, the only question I have is, okay, what's the lesson? Okay, what's the lesson that I need to get from this thing that's happening? Okay, um, will I ever know? Will I ever know how things will turn out? No, never. I will never know how things will turn out. I can only have an intention. I can only have an intention. I can only know and decide for myself what I want. Okay, and then the way would be how to navigate through, okay, whatever is coming, okay, to get to where I want to go. Okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but nothing is permanent, nothing is final. Okay, if it doesn't work, then take a different path. If it works, then continue on that path, and then there'll be more struggles, challenges, and whatever the universe decides to send. Okay, and sometimes the universe will urge us along, tap us along. But I'm very scared. I'm very scared of those situations because it means that I already know. Okay, when things are easy, it means that I'm already familiar, I'm already trained, I've already built the muscle. There's nothing for me to learn. There's nothing for me to learn. There's no growth. There's no growth in comfort. All growth comes from discomfort. Okay,
I
so
want to add,
that's my philosophy.
yeah, I just want to add one more thing with regards to what Denise was saying earlier about obstacles. Sometimes you hit obstacle, don't know whether um, most of the time it is not the external obstacles that will stop us. It is the
Mm,
internal obstacle. Um, so if something is important enough, if something is important enough, we will always find a way to handle
mm,
the obstacle. And the external obstacle is usually the easiest to handle. It is an internal obstacle. And if you have problem getting through the internal obstacles, means whatever we think is important may not be that important because we are putting up a lot of obstacles for
mm.
ourselves to get there. So it may not be that important. So it is to listen to yourself about what obstacle are you creating as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I share one more thing about myself?
Yes.
Of
I
course,
I
go.
in my third year, I remember this very, very clearly because that was my point of breaking through. The point where I eventually break through from my third year to my fourth year, where I eventually made it is when I have that conviction and I told myself and I refused to allow myself to go back to work to full employment. I told myself there is no way I am ever going to go back to work for someone else. And that is the ultimatum I set for myself. No way, I cannot go back. And that conviction helped me to make it happen for me because I literally cut it off. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So that's what made it work for me lah. That's how I function.
Mm. Burn the bridge. Burn the bridge, sink the boat, whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay, for the benefit of everyone, the question actually was this. Okay, you you're on a boat and then the boat failed. Okay, you're on a boat and then you land on a deserted island. Not a deserted island. You land on an island and you want to conquer that island. Okay, how and then there's somebody else on another boat who comes to that same island and they also want to conquer that island. How do you win? How do you determine that you will win? You sink your own boat. It means that there's no way you can't get off the island. There's no way to get off the island except, and the only thing that you can do is to conquer the island. That was that was the metaphor.
That was the context. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it could be bridge as well. You cross the bridge, okay, you burn the bridge. Otherwise you can there's always a back door. Okay, if there's a back door, you lock the door and throw away the key. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just cutting away. Okay, it's cutting away your exit.
Because it's letting your mind know that there is no way
Back.
other than forwards.
Yeah.
Because your mind will think, never mind lah. You know the bridge is there, one. Can run away, one lah. No problem lah. But then there's no bridge. Your mind is like, okay, well, we are effed. Gotta do something about it. What is hawk ball? I don't know, Big Tree. What is hawk ball? Did anybody say hawk ball? And
No.
anyway, you replied,
Yes.
what is happiness? Happiness.
Bot maybe. I don't know. Hot bot.
But I don't know what's hawk ball, man. Big Tree, I don't know what channel you're on. We have another question. New Yen, if I pronounce correctly. What is
Yin.
happiness? And Big Tree said happiness is eating chocolate and not gaining weight. I will make a correction to that statement. Happiness is eating and not gaining weight. Eating whatever and not gaining weight. Okay, that's my happiness. Happiness looks different for everybody lah. Okay, so what is your happiness looks like? And Chloe has not replied about marketing. You must let us know what is it exactly about marketing you want us to talk about, okay? And I guess it's time for last words. My last words. What is hotbot?
I think he's referring to not hot bot, not hot bot.
or maybe just now when Douglas was saying some words were
I
it
think
came
it's
across
It's hot
something
bot.
as hot bot. It's a hot bot. HOTBOD. Hot body.
When did we talk about hot bots?
That was very long ago already.
Yeah.
Is it lagging so much?
Yeah.
No
I don't
lah,
know.
hor.
I can't remember talking about hot
lah.
bots.
Hey, Big Tree, you need to catch up, okay? Hotbot was very long ago already. Okay, last words for Chin Hiao.
How about
Last
me?
words, yeah, not paragraph, yeah.
No, that's Douglas the last time. Anyway, all I want to say is don't simply rely on your one active income. Okay, you need to start doing something on the side or start doing something to build wealth. Okay, otherwise you're going to be slave to your job, and anytime that's cut off, you're really going to be broke and unhappy.
Okay. Douglas, last words.
Okay, very simple. No paragraph. We're going to be spending time doing things anyway. Okay, we're going to spend time doing things anyway. We're going to have to play this game of life anyway. Then why not simply choose to play the game that we enjoy playing the most and get rewarded for it? Over to you, Denise.
Oh, to me, Denise. Okay. She has shortened it further. Time passes anyway. We are going to. You need this. It's an important part of the statement, babe.
The first part I forgot.
I said time pass. We are going to spend time doing things anyway.
Okay, we are too late in the last words, okay, Denise. We are going to spend time
No,
doing
this is Douglas's.
anyway.
He said we are going to spend time doing things anyway. Why not simply choose to do the things that we enjoy and play the game that we enjoy? Goodness me. Okay, so anyway, my last words. I bet we until she finished typing first. My last words is that my last words are life will throw problems at us regardless. So choose your problems wisely. Chloe says the value of marketing to society.
Okay, we can put that as a topic as a conversation in our next
We will
session.
consider how we're going to spin it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but the next one will not be the week after. The next one will be week after next. Yeah, okay.
No, the
Okay.
next one
No, leh.
we'll
No.
do a
Week
2 week
after
break.
next,
We'll do a
ma,
2 week break.
correct.
No.
But we
Week
need
after
to, we need
next.
to have Rachel first. Rachel has
Yeah, I
Okay,
know
Rachel,
last
last
words
words
first, then we
first.
talk about the date. Yeah, my
Yeah.
last word first. My last words is to know yourself and be tuned into what you like and don't like, or what works for you and doesn't work for you, so that you're in a better position to plan and to chart your directions or your way forward. Yeah. And I'll type that.
Okay, while she's typing. So basically, the week after next will be the first week of the month, August, which you guys cannot make it, right? Douglas and
No, we
Chunho.
can. Actually, we actually postponed the other session, but it's right after.
Money
Uh,
and you.
no, not right after Monday. There's another program that's going on. It's Business Growth
Okay,
Masterclass.
so the main thing is August 3rd. Can or cannot?
No, cannot. So we'll only be back. Okay, so we'll take a 3 week break and we'll only be back on the 17th of August.
17th. Okay,
Yeah,
lor.
that's what we
17th.
actually did. That's why we decided to do this earlier, 1 week
Yeah.
earlier.
I didn't know about the 3 week break, guys. Nobody told me anything.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
but
so
I
you
was
know
actually
now.
wanting to
So
discuss
now
with
you
you
know.
guys.
Thanks.
I wanted to discuss whether you guys want to do it on the 4th, but I realized Douglas can't do it the 4th because he
Okay,
got another
never
live
mind,
stream going on.
guys. So to the audience, we will see you guys on the 17th of August because, and next week we may be, I don't know, we may put some photos up on Arch My Money, etc. Because next week is Money and You Week. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
next
ding,
week we're preparing.
ding.
Okay, so next Wednesday. Okay, so next Wednesday we are preparing for Money and You.
So we are not
It
having a live
happens
stream on next
Thursday,
Wednesday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the following Wednesday. Okay, just for everyone's information, following Wednesday, um, we have Dominic uh, Leon's
The
big
business class.
business growth master
Yes.
class, which ends on the
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday we have we have Tribify Mastermind, and
Okay.
so, and so we can
So,
only come back the Wednesday after that, which is the
yes.
17th of August.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so 17 August will be the next live stream for Ouch My Money. We will see you guys then. If you're going for Money and You, we will see you guys at Money and You. Please remember like, share, and subscribe. That's about it lah.
And leave us any comments. Okay, if there's anything else that you want us to talk about,
Leave it in
leave us
comments.
a comment,
Thanks
and
so
then we
much
will see you
for
on
your
the 17th.
questions and comments today.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all
Like,
for being
share,
here tonight.
subscribe.
Thank you for your
Like,
questions.
share,
Yeah,
subscribe.
thank you everybody for joining
Like,
us.
share, subscribe.
Guys.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.